So we always wanted Evernote to be a permanent extension of your brain. The idea is it's something that follows you around for the rest of your life, and whenever anything interesting happens, we want you to just be able to capture it and then always find it. So since your brain kind of needs to work everywhere, Evernote needs to work everywhere as well. It needs to be ubiquitous. And really the only way for us to guarantee that was to make sure that your memories in Evernote were always wherever you were. So the architecture that we have is this, it's not strictly cloud-based, it's really a hybrid, because we store everything locally on your computer, but we also store everything on our servers, and everything is synchronized and copied around, really just about so that whenever you need to find something, it's always right there, wherever you happen to be. And cloud computing is really the only way to achieve that.
I think for us, we're both very consumer-oriented companies and try to think about kind of a very mainstream consumer kind of experience, I think, or at least trying to design things simply for them. I think the thing that people miss a lot is the power of cloud computing for actually processing information in the cloud using very, very powerful servers instead of using the resources of a local client system. And in our case, this could not be more valuable because we have a relatively powerful little device, this EvernoteEyeFi card, but operating under low power situation, operating in very low form factor. We want to be as power efficient as possible because we're borrowing power from the camera. So the importance of the cloud for us goes way beyond connectivity and way beyond storage. We can offload a lot of the magic that we do to the cloud, where we can get much more horsepower and much faster processing for things like geotagging than would ever be possible to process locally in the card or in the camera.
Our goal is to fundamentally make people's lives better by giving everyone a better brain, helping everyone remember something, making the stress that you feel because you've forgotten something just a thing of the past. I used to just forget everything. I used to go to a restaurant, get a nice bottle of wine, and kind of be sad, be resigned that I know I'm not going to remember that. I could try, but I know it's not going to work. I can write it down, but then I'm going to lose the paper or whatever. And now, I've been using Evernote for about 2 years. I feel like I have this very mild superpower where I can remember any wine. I'm never going to forget it. So it makes my life better in that way. Obviously, the cloud's a big part of that. And integrations with things like EyeFi are a big part of it because, for example, EyeFi with Evernote has made cameras 10 times more useful to me than they ever were before. In the past, the camera for me was only something that I would use to record kind of sentimental objects, pictures of my friends and family on vacation. And I had lots of big cameras for that, but I never had any use for small cameras. With EyeFi, those become sort of the ultimate information capturing device. It's kind of having this really high quality portable scanner that I can always carry in my pocket everywhere. And we've got cameras in our conference rooms. Every time we fill up a whiteboard, there's just a camera with an EyeFi card in there. We take a picture of it, automatically goes into Evernote, makes that much more useful. So in thousands of small ways like that, our goal is very much to improve people's lives.
And I think, this is a big draw for entrepreneurs, for people who are comfortable with risk, people who are looking for an environment that's very open-minded, that tolerates risk, that tolerates ambiguity. I think this is the place that people like us come.
But then I realized, in my previous 2 companies in Boston, this is exactly the kind of meeting that I would fly across the country for. It would take 3 days. And now, almost anyone that I would want to work with, I can either walk across, the street and come see them, or at most I drive, a half hour or an hour. For a startup, that's an incalculable advantage.
Yes. Time is the most valuable thing we have, and there's this concentration here that's very, very important. So it's partly culture, and it's part the sort of ecosystem that exists here. It's clearly the venture capital of the world. Even though there's venture capitalists in Boston and Seattle and other places, this is where you can get the greatest audience with interested investors who have walked the walk and speak the speak here. There is a critical mass of talent here. There's so many tech companies here, people who come from big companies with great technical expertise but are ready to take the adventure in a small company. So there's just there's not only the cultural advantage, but this ecosystem that exists here.
And the weather's nice.
Yes, the weather's nice.